The SIG P226? Oh yeah. How sweet it is. Today we're going to talk about a legend, the SIG P226. Back in 1984, this was SIG's answer to the U.S. military trials to replace the 1911. And this handgun was based very strongly on the original SIG P220, which was in 45 ACP with a single stack magazine. The SIG P226, well, definitely lost the trials to the Beretta 92. And one of the big reasons was price. Any of you that have looked at SIG pistols know that these are not inexpensive pistols. They are top tier. In fact, the retail price on this is $1,015. Street price around $900 range, which is pretty steep for a basic home defense pistol. But one of the things that I'm going to preface this whole review on, and one of the reasons why that I think that the P226 is an excellent, exceptional pistol and probably worth the full $900 or more that you'll pay for it, is that this has been adopted by the Navy SEALs and has been used for almost 20 years. That in itself says a lot about this pistol. But not only the Navy SEALs, but also the Border Patrol, a lot of different law enforcement agencies, even Homeland Security, use as their standard the P226. Thousands upon thousands of rounds have been fired through the P226, and this is a very proven firearm. And if you ever watch Nothing Fancy, he is a big proponent of the 226 and has an excellent video about all the different models. And that's another thing about the 226, is there are a lot of different variations with this pistol. So let's go ahead and safety check the pistol, drop the magazine, check the chamber. It is unloaded. The SIG 226 is a double single action pistol. So the first shot with the hammer down is a fairly long trigger pull, and then the round is fired. Subsequent rounds, though, the hammer is in the rear position. And then you're able to fire single action with a much less of a trigger pull. With the double action trigger pull, it's going to be really long but yet smooth. And you can watch the hammer as it comes back on that first shot. It's about 10 pounds. Has a pretty clean break, though, once it hits. Your subsequent shots, with the slide coming back, you're going to have the hammer in the rear position. With the single action, you have some take up, and then about 4.5 pound trigger pull. And that's not bad at all. Reset is really long, though. All the way out to here, and then you get your reset. SIG does offer an option where you can get a short reset trigger. So there are a lot of different options because this pistol has been around for a long time and it's very popular, not only with military and law enforcement, but also with civilians. So there's a lot of accessories, a lot of different magazine choices and holster choices out on the market, plus sights and everything else that go around this pistol. And one of the things about buying a handgun that is really popular is it usually has a pretty good track record of being reliable and being very accepted by the public. Now, training with this type trigger system is really important. Because what happens is a lot of times guys that are not used to this type trigger, the first trigger pull will be really heavy. Subsequent shots are going to be a lot lighter. So that second shot can really take you by surprise if you're not already looking for it, if you're not anticipating it. Now, to make this gun safe, you can either fire the round, or right here is your decocker. Bring that lever down, it brings the hammer down. Now this allows this gun to be very safely carried. One of the safeties is this rear hammer, and you cannot push the hammer down to touch the firing pin. And that's part of the hammer block. There's also a firing pin safety block as well. So this is a very safe gun to carry, fully loaded. But the one thing about it is, if it is in the cock position, this is not a safe way to carry it, and you really need to decock it. Now, of course, there are no external safeties. The decocker, very similar to a double-action revolver where no safeties. It's a very purposeful pull of the trigger. It does come with two 15-round magazines, and as you can see, 15 and then one of the chamber. Now 15-1 has been beaten out by a number of different pistols with more capacity, but the SIG still remains extremely popular. And you can buy higher capacity magazines. And here on the magazine, Sig Sauer P226 9mm, and these are made in the USA. Now many of the SIGs are now made in Exeter, New Hampshire, but these were originally designed in Switzerland. But because of all the Swiss importation laws making it very difficult, the manufacturing company was moved to Germany. So most of your SIG pistols were made in Germany, and then now a lot of the production is done right here in the USA. And this is a USA made SIG. The SIG 226 weighs about 34 ounces, which is really pretty heavy in today's standards with the polymer frames. This is an aluminum frame that's been anodized. It's a stainless steel slide. It's a CNC stainless steel with a nitron finish, which is really impervious to weather. Originally, the slide was stamped and it was folded, and then there was a nose section welded on. That changed when they went to the .40 caliber and the .357 to make this a stainless steel slide that was CNC machined to give it a little bit more strength. Now the steel stamping was discontinued though in 1996. It has really nice serrations, excellent for gripping the slide. Some models do come with some serrations on the front here. You have your slide stop right here. Then we have the decocker here, and then here's your takedown. The sights are a 3-dot high contrast sight system. You can also get SIG night sights as well as an option. You know, this gun jumps around in front of the camera, but I'll tell you, it's really hard to look through the viewfinder and see that small steel silhouette. The overall length is 7.7 inches. It's 5.5 inches in height. The barrel is 4.4 inches. Again, this is a fairly weighty pistol, but one of the advantages of having that good weight is that it really allows for good accuracy. Balances very well. It stays in the hand very well. So even though it does have a few downsides to the weight, that has advantages on the other end. So it also makes it not only an excellent service pistol and a sidearm, it also makes an excellent home defense handgun. When trying to make a choice for your handgun, the handgun you're going to rely on for self-defense, there are a lot of options out there. One of the things about a SIG though, really hard to beat the quality of these pistols. Now the width of the slide is 1.56 inches, so it's a fairly wide slide compared to 1.18 inches of the Glock. It does feature a nice accessory rail on the front of the frame, and this is going to allow for flashlights, lasers, accessories. Now this is the E26R, and it's the 9mm black version. But there are a lot of various models that are different, and one of the big differences with this model in particular is the E2 grip. They did make an E2 model at one point, and when they discontinued that model, they kept this grip. It's much more like a CZ75 grip, where it has like a hump and then it comes in really low. Most of your SIG pistols, the grip is a lot more straight here, and also with the new E2 grip, the texturing is very grippy, which I really like. It's almost like a laser etched grip here, and then even on the back as well. But on the front, it's aluminum, and it has serrations all the way down the front of the front strap, and then right here at the trigger guard, serrations. Magazines are easy to insert, they're easy to release, very smooth. It is beveled somewhat right here at the mag well. Now this has the long extractor. They have developed now a shorter extractor, which originally had a few problems, but they worked through it. Now one of the things that I particularly really like is a very low bore axis. I like for the bore of the handgun to fit really close to my hand, and it's one of the things the SIG does not do. It raises pretty high. The sights are high up off of the bore, and that's the bore of the barrel itself. So as you can see, the bore line is a good inch above my hand. And to compare that to the Glock, which has a really low bore axis, that means that the barrel is riding a lot closer to the top of the web of your hand compared to the SIG, which you can tell is pretty high. In fact, we can look right here. It's a good ½ inch above. But it's all about what you're getting used to. If you're used to getting those sights higher up and acquiring those sights, then this works well. But for some reason, with the SIG, it just shoots exceptionally well. And I don't really think about it being a high bore axis. It just really fits naturally in the hand. To break down the pistol, it's really simple. We're going to double check, make sure that the gun is unloaded. Go ahead and take your slide stop and put it into place. Take your takedown lever right here and just rotate it downward, and then release your slide stop. And this will bring your slide right off the frame. Here we have a steel guide rod, and now if you look at the recoil spring, it has a triple twist around the recoil spring, and SIG recommends that you replace this spring every about 5,000 rounds. And to remove the barrel, just pull it from the slide. This is a Browning design, or it's very close to the Browning design. And one of the things I want to show you that's a little different with the SIG is that here, if you'll notice, when the barrel comes back, it locks up. But it locks up to the front of the hood right here on your slide. And that's one of SIG's designs, and it's a really good, solid, positive lockup. Now the inside of the slide has very nice fit and finish, no tooling marks. It's just an excellent quality. SIG makes excellent quality handguns anyway. And of course here with the frame, same thing. A lot of attention to detail. And then to reassemble, drop in your barrel, recoil spring and guide rod, bring it back, hit your slide stop, hit the lever, back in business. The SIG P226 is a legend, and there is a good reason for it. It's extremely well made, it's precision as a Swiss clock, and they're just a joy to shoot. Very ergonomic, really a little more of the old school because it is an aluminum frame. But I'll tell you what, you put one of these in your hand, you're gonna like it. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. How sweet it is. And to remove your barrel, you pull it from your frame. Oh, God. Now the barrel system is very similar to the Glock design. Of course, the fit and the finish inside the frame is exceptional. All the machining on the inside of the frame. Okay. The 226 comes in 9mm, 40 caliber, and 357 Magnum. And there's also a safety pin block as well. The SIG. And the SIG P226 is definitely a really excellent quality. Okay, that's all that crap. Maybe this relates to you like Sigmund Freud. Oh, wrong SIG.